Good afternoon. My name is Darryl Robert Schoon. Most of my writings have focused on the crises caused by the current economic collapse. Last month, however, I was invited by Sergio Lube to address his members-only group, Favors.org. This group had a broader spectrum than I'm usually used to addressing, and so I decided to add another element to this talk and include aspects of the crises that I usually don't talk about when I deliver my talks on gold and the economic collapse that is happening around the world. Sergio's group, I told them when I first began speaking that to really navigate this crisis, it was important to understand the meaning of derivatives. But what I meant when I used the word derivatives was not financial derivatives. I meant the use of the word derivatives in regards to derivative realities. For just as much as our paper money is a derivative of real money, our actual realities are derivatives of a far deeper reality, which we usually do not apprehend. In 1985, my son wrote an essay entitled The Superconscious. It was an extraordinary essay, and I believe it has relevance to the crisis that we're going through today, especially in regards to what I call derivative realities and the underlying true reality that forms the backdrop of our very collective and individual experience. He was 12 years old when he wrote this. I'd like you to keep that in mind. The Superconscious. Benjamin Durant Schoon, English composition, Mr. Dan Schreck, May 12, 1985. The superconscious is a term which Carl Jung created. It's limited as a word and perhaps as a concept, but unlimited as reality. Other limited words like higher consciousness or higher being are synonyms for the superconscious, but that's all they are. Some perceive the superconscious to be a separated force, which guides all beings individually. Others think it is a unified entity, which is everything. But nevertheless, it is what it is, and that's all that it is. The answers are here, but where can we find them? Few know the answers, but none know the solution, said a foolish philosopher who spoke of God's name, but not of his essence, and was a wise philosopher who knew of God's essence, but not of itself. He knew what he was, but never met himself. He met himself, but did not recognize himself. He analyzed this using logical reasoning, the thing which explains all except its creator. Mental understanding in the physical realm, spiritual knowledge in the mental understanding. All is strived for, but is seldom achieved. The philosopher searches for answers in a manner he knows will not suffice, and yet is too smart to change his method. Purpose is an answer to everyone's questions. They look beyond themselves and already have gone too far. Those who have power in the physical plane seldom have control in the mental aspect. Those who have control in the mental aspect seldom have holiness in the spiritual realm. Those who have full holiness in the spiritual realm are beyond yet behind this physical existence. You complain about the path, yet you refuse to leave it. You are confined within your taxi of mental mobility, free to move around inside. You question your driver, whom you've never met, as to where you're going and why. Frustrated with getting no answer, you consider escape. The jump would be rough, the fall would be rougher, but you would be free. But you're too scared, for the taxi ride is all you know. You are angry because you're not going where you want to go. You apparently have no control. Fear sets in. You try to seize control, and you drive down the wrong road to get to your destination. Or are you? The driver eventually gets you onto another main road, and the road is smooth again. You let the driver take you to your destination. He stops. You know you must get out, but you don't know what to do once you're out. Reluctantly, you get out. You instantly remember who you are. You then get in another taxi and forget who you are again, but the road is smoother. This happens until you realize you are and have been the driver all the time. If perception creates reality, one must change perception in order to change reality, or one might stop perceiving. This does not mean stop reality, for you would still observe and react in, quote, other people's, unquote, perception of reality. It simply means to stop judging. The road is then smooth until you reach your destination. That paper was written by my son when he was 12 years old in 1985. He had been attending a private school where he was exposed to the ideas of Plato and Socrates. The school was operating on the assumption that children have a far greater capacity than we allow them to experience because of the limited information we present them. Thus, he was given a whole range of ideas that most 12-year-olds are never exposed to. The paper was a consequence of his final exam that was supposed to be a 10-page paper entitled "The Role of the Superconscious in Art and Culture." This was a particularly frustrating topic, as neither he nor certainly I didn't have any ideas about its applicability. Frustrated, the day before his paper was due, he sat and asked for help. What I just read you was what he then wrote. To me, it was an extraordinary opening into the greater reality that exists around us. A reality that is as real as it is unusually not accessed by us. And that's what I believe this crisis is really all about. This crisis is not so much about an economic crisis, though it is certainly economic and financial. It is about a greater crisis that faces humanity as a whole. A crisis that Buckminster Fuller himself predicted in 1981. A crisis he wrote about in The Critical Path, where he said that mankind soon would face a crisis of unprecedented proportions. A crisis forcing us to enter realities and to become that which we are, not which we believe ourselves to be. It was this opportunity of Sergio Lub's Favors.org that gave me the chance to read Durant's essay that before I had never rarely exposed to public scrutiny. And these are ideas that I would like you to consider as you go about your lives dealing with an economic crisis that I believe is far greater. I will be in Australia in November, speaking alongside the esteemed Professor Antal Fekete, Sandeep Jaitley, Rudy Frisch, Nathan Naroussis, Bonchacheki, and others, in discussing primarily the economic crisis and what is happening to us as we go through it. If you sign up before the end of this month, you will receive a free complimentary subscription to my newsletter, Moving Through the Maelstrom with Darryl Robert Schoon. I hope to see you all there. Thank you.